and gentlemen, welcome to Carbon Fields. I am super excited because today we'll be talking about one of my all-time favorite cars, the Subaru Legacy BD5 RS. The Subaru Legacy is an iconic rally car. Subaru used it in all sides of motorsports, and it did really well in rally sport, it was later replaced by the Subaru Impreza. This is actually the Impreza's older cousin, the one who's been in the scene before it, and then later moved on and gave the younger, more nimble Impreza the spotlight. This car went from rally hero to now a plush mid-sized sedan. So you can drive your family to church and it won't shame you on the drag strip either. It has enough muscle to run down the drag strip and put even other cars to shame. The Legacy was offered with either the EJ20, EJ22 or EJ25 motors, the EJ20 being the sequential twin-turbo one, or the other two being naturally aspirated. 5-speed manual gearboxes and Subaru's Lineartronic automatic was also an option. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive were stuff you could choose from. This car, being the RS, was offered with the EJ20 twin-turbo engine, all-wheel drive drivetrain with a manual gearbox, but right now it has a WRX4 conversion. So it's running the WRX4 EJ20 with a single turbo. Complete WRX drivetrain, standard suspension, but it has Mishimoto intercooler, complete Vickr DP Racing piping. That's the intake, intercooler piping, and the exhaust from the downpipe all the way up to the back. Standard Subaru muffler, has an AEM air filter which keeps the turbo safe from the dust and debris in Sri Lanka. If you haven't watched our video on beginner mods, you should check it out because we talk about why you need one of these instead of a replica. So definitely check that one out. We'll include the link to the video somewhere here. This car has an AEM fuel pump, so the engine is never starved. It's always kept running well. Also, you might notice the Speedline wheels, they've been painted black, no branding on them. I love that, I personally love it. Speedline 17-inch alloys with STI 6RA brakes and slotted discs. Stopping this car is not a problem. Going fast is not a problem either. Let's take it for a drive and see what it's like. The Subaru Legacy was offered in sedan and station wagon body styles, station wagon touring, whatever you want to call it. In Australia they call it the Outback. This car, chassis code BD5, the sedan has to be my favorite out of them all because I'm honestly a Subaru fanboy and I love the Impreza, but right now in Sri Lanka the STI, the Imprezas, the GC8 especially, are getting quite common. You kick a bush, you get about a good 10 Imprezas. But this car, the Legacy, is actually quite uncommon. This one especially. The B4s and all of that, the models later, they're also somewhat common. This car has been one of my dream cars. I've always wanted to get one of these chassis and throw an STI drivetrain into it and slap a huge turbo onto it and all of that. Obviously, the bank account said no. This car was owned by one of our friends a good 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago. And from the time I saw it, I fell in love with it because it was sporting this lovely grey before the color was even cool. Now everyone's painting their cars grey, but this car had it before anyone else had it. And it was neat inside and out. Even at the moment, it's really neat. Everything is so nice. The interior is in good condition and it's well put together by the Japs. Props to Subaru for that. Everything, there are no nicks, there are no noises and rattles and all of that, hardly any. Rather, this is quite an old car. And even on the outside, the car has been kept almost stock. It has a nice RS spoiler, that's a standard spoiler, tiny spoiler on the boot, which complements the rear end really well. The lip in the front, painted matte black to match the wheels, Speedline wheels, they don't have any branding on them. I think it looks super sleek, super stealthy, and it's an amazing car. Overall, it's nice and comfortable. If you've been in an Impreza, a GC8 or something like that, you'd definitely notice that this car is slightly bigger and it's also comfortable. It's more comfortable than the Impreza, obviously, because the Impreza the chassis was engineered in such a way, which is why they brought it in instead of the Legacy later on and pulled the Legacy out of motorsport. This car is daily driven by Kamal and it's good on fuel. Don't expect 1 litre figures, but for a 2 litre all-wheel drive turbocharged car, it does good on fuel. It's a comfortable cruiser. Everything works well. The power steering, the AC, and everything works well. I like these seats. these fit me well. Some seats are just too big, some seats are small and uncomfortable, but these seats fit me just right. And I like them. They're nice and old school. You've got this nice red-ish thing going on the seats. Kamal's done some customizing to the interior. The center console has some Alcantara on it. He's done it himself. Props to him for that. I love DIY, guys. And the overall feel of the car, the dashboard to the door cards, everything is nice and soft. There's hardly any hard plastic, which I love. Whereas if you get into a newer car, it's all hard plastic, and that's honestly disgusting. The way the car drives, it's on standard suspension, so it doesn't handle like a race car, but it does what it does. It does what it has been built to do well, as in what Kamal has customized it for. For anyone who's wanted to get a Impreza GC8, I think this car is a better alternative because it's an amazing daily driver. It's nice and comfortable, and compared to the GC8, cost-wise, I think it'll cost the same. But in Sri Lanka right now, GC8s are really common, and it's hard to find a clean example. So you'd either get a hacked car or an overpriced car, or an hacked and overpriced car, and most of them are conversions, hardly any originals. And with a conversion that someone else has done, if you don't know the history, if you don't have proper records, then you don't know what's going on in the car. So if you get one of these chassis, even if you get the non-turbo one and do a conversion on it, you'd have a clean car, you'd have a nice daily driver, a superb, fun driver's car, and there won't be any bitter secrets. You'd know everything about it. And cost-wise, it'll cost almost as much as a Impreza GC8. But I think it's a better car to go for. I'd personally go for one of these instead of the GC8. I'm a Subaru boy, I love the sound, and I love everything about Subarus. I don't care what you have to say about it, I love it. And I'd go for one of these definitely, no doubt. The brake upgrade on this car, I think it needs a mention because it does its job really well. I mean, you can be doing a 140, a 160, but you press the pedal and it immediately starts doing its job. These are STI 6 RA brakes. Like I mentioned before, these cars are like puzzles. You can mix and match parts, so you can take parts off other Subarus and fit them onto this. It's honestly not that hard to build one of these. And especially because they come in a four-wheel drive configuration as well, the all-wheel drive configuration. I don't know why I keep saying four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive and all-wheel drive is different. Maybe we can do a video on that also later on. Anyways, so even doing a conversion off of a front-wheel drive car into all-wheel drive is not too hard. You don't have to cut your flow and all of that nonsense. You can skip all of the drama, get straight to the business and build yourself one of these. 4-pot calipers out front, 2-pot calipers at the back, does its job amazingly. And the discs also, I think it helps the pads with the slots and all of that. Brake fade is not that noticeable because I've been crashing this a bit now and I don't notice a difference in the brakes. This car has a full Vickers DP Racing exhaust system, like I mentioned before, but the muffler has been changed to a standard STI muffler because it was actually quite loud before, and cops don't like loud cars. We love it, but cops don't. And since he's a daily driver, Kamal has opted for the standard STI muffler. So you get the nice Subaru rumble. That's something to die for. And it's not all that loud. It has decent noise. It's not booming inside. Pretty comfortable, whereas you notice if you just throw a muffler onto your exhaust, it gets really uncomfortable inside, and especially for the passengers at the back, it gets very uncomfortable. It's unbearable. But this guy is everything is just right, you know. It's on the edge of street car and race car. Not really, because I mean with all the piping and all of that work, that's more towards the performance side, but it has also retained its ability to be daily driven comfortably and reliably. It's pretty reliable, it doesn't break down and all of that. Service is done on time. You need to take care of your car, if not your car is not going to take care of you. Overall, amazing package. Time to show you guys what this car is capable of. Time to put the foot down. I'm just going to switch the AC off because I need every bit of horsepower. First gear 7, second gear 6.5, 7.5, third. Oh yeah, and the brakes. pulls. It pulls. It's not a slow car, but it's not crazy fast. Just right. Amazing package. I'm excited! I love Subarus. I need to get myself one.